Good morning, everyone. It's 11:11. It's Wednesday morning. I'm here live with you on my new set here. You can see behind me that beautiful Christmas tree sparkling in the background, and the presence and the image of Christ and the doves there. And I'm happy to be here at my new set. I hope you're joining me. I'm live here with you this morning, having conversations with you about the purple papers. I'm going to be giving a book away very shortly, and I'm very excited to go on a journey with you this morning. As you know, I want to thank you all for joining me at my events. I'm honored that you're there. As I say to everyone, it really takes a lot of courage to sit in that room, as I've said many times before, because what happens if I say the words you need to hear? What happens if you hear your loved one's name? What happens when you hear your loved one's story? Something happens in that moment. You start to relive, revisit, reconnect with your grief again. And so it isn't my intention for people to have more pain, obviously. It's my intention that people step beyond their suffering, step into the light, step into the understanding that love is everlasting, that the relationships that you shared in life were very powerful. And the power of that love is offered during an experience. So, when you get a message from someone like me, the message is really supposed to open the doorway to some more healing, to the reminder of love, to the connection that exists between you. So today we're going to go on a little journey together. Again, for those of you that don't know, I'm giving a book away today. This is my new book, Signs of Spirit. If you are interested in receiving this book, say yes here, because the other day we offered a book to someone and there were 500 responses. So there's a lot of people saying yes to the book, but you can still get in right now. You can get in and win a copy of this book. I want to read something from the book to you. This is called My Mother's Voice by Dale Belluccio. One morning I was thinking and speaking to my mother. She had passed only 2 months prior, and I was hoping she would make her presence known. I would regularly try to make a connection with her. I would try to reach out from my heart and feel her presence around me. On the night she passed, I was awoken by a shadowy figure at the foot of my bed. I was sleepy and knew there was someone standing there, but could not figure out who it was. At 7:30 a.m. the next morning, I received a phone call that my mother had passed during the night. In my heart, I knew it was she who was my overnight visitor. Now, the other day I posted a question about dreams. Do your loved ones visit you in your dreams? Have you had moments in your dreams that were so crystal clear that it goes beyond the dream state? It's as if you've entered a moment with them. It's as if you've had a visit with them. In Dale's story, she tells the story of the healing that she received after hearing the message that was written on the purple paper. And at the end of her story, she says, "As I left the event with my sacred purple paper in my hands, I felt an enormous amount of healing had just occurred for me. I had healed in my grief and in my trauma due to the messages in the purple paper. I can see now my mother and our relationship in a totally different light and allow myself to let go of the anger." So here's where I am this morning. I presented you the question about the dreams because I think our loved ones communicate to us in our dreams. As Dale had a visit, not knowing who it was, a premonition of her mother's passing, it was a moment where she could communicate with her mother. The purple paper that came months later, written months later, maybe years later, was a validation that the dream visitor, that night visitor, was in fact her mother, offering her messages of hope, a validation that what she was feeling and what she was experiencing was something real. So if our loved ones visit us in our dreams, what are they trying to tell us? What is it that they're trying to show us? How is it that they're trying to communicate with us? And what is the message they're trying to relay? And I think about this all the time. I think about it every day. I ask myself every single day, if you're there, I accept whatever sign or message you bring. The other night, I was in this deep, deep sleep. My mother came around me and held me. It was as if I was alive and she was alive. It was as if the two of us were back together again, the old team that we were in life. It was a moment in that dream when she embraced me that I didn't feel the separation of death. Now, death separates us in the physical world, but it shouldn't separate us in our thinking. We should remain and be reminded that we are connected, that we are close to them. Now, on a side note, if you are going through grief, I am doing a free event at the Barnes & Noble on December 19th, I think at 7 o'clock at night. And it's a free grief, it's Living Beyond Loss, 11th Living Beyond Loss Grief Conference, and it's simply my speaking about grief and loss and having some time together. So that's free if you need that kind of support. And so what I discovered, and what I've been discovering, is that the separation between me and my mom and me and certainly Mabel is in the physical world. It's not in the spiritual world, because in that space there is no separation at all. There is no separation. When we go into our dream state with our loved ones, there's no separation there. Now, there are some dreams that you see them dying again, you relive those experiences. The dream that I am talking about is the dream that you feel embraced, supported, loved, you see them, you feel them, you know they're okay. Those dreams are an absolute gift from our loved ones. So, remember now, if you want to win a copy of Signs of Spirit, my new book, which came out by Llewellyn Worldwide, we'll be giving it away at the very end of this show. Also, if you're in Rhode Island, I'm going to be at Card Smart next week, and I'm telling you, don't tell anybody. It's a small group. It's less than 50 people in that group. And then the next night, I'm in Massachusetts at MetNet. In Attleboro, Mass, another small group. And then I'll be in New Jersey and New York City and doing a big book signing at Union Square in Manhattan. So there's a lot of things, a lot of places where we can meet each other, and places where you can look at the purple papers. If you're here for the first time, let me give some shout outs before I say my next thing there. Thank you. Alicia in North Smithfield, Rhode Island, thank you for turning in. Michael and Garrett, my favorite guys there in Coventry, Rhode Island, thanks for tuning in. Ashley in North Smithfield. Jennifer in Churchtown, Maryland. If I had a bell, I'd ring it for you, because I don't think I've had a listener from Churchton, Maryland before. Margie in North Stonington. Hello, Terry in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Debbie in Johnston, Rhode Island. I'm going to be in your neck of the woods on Monday. Christina in Woonsocket. Christina in Johnston. Christina in Westport. There's a lot of Christina in Vegas. We got all the Christinas listening this morning. Arthur in Webster, Mass. Hey, Arthur. Jean in North Situate, and Kate in Cranston, Rhode Island. Thank you so much. Ann from the Bronx. I see you tuning in. Donna from Rehoboth. Kathy from Rehoboth. Tina from Westchester, New York. Thank you. And Shirley from Rhode Island. Thank you so much. So keep saying yes, because we're giving away a book on Monday. On today. In a few minutes, we're giving a book away. Oh man, I should have taken my ADHD pill this morning, because it seems like my brain needs it a little bit. But we're talking about dreams. We're talking about connections. We're getting together here to help each other through grief and loss. And that's why we're here, because the dreams tell the story of the interconnectedness between us. It tells the story that there is no separation at all between us, at all. So let's go on to the purple papers. So if you're listening for the first time, these purple papers are all pre-written messages that a channeler or a medium hears. Now, there's a lot of mediums in the world, and when you walk out into a group with another medium at a gallery setting, or you watch TV, you hear them telling stories about the loved ones that have passed. That's what a medium does. The medium bridges this world and that world and brings you a moment of peace about loss and grief. Well, the way that I do my thing is that I write what I hear, and I've been hearing this for 20 years. These papers go back to 2005 on a mission to tell the story that love is everlasting. Here's an interesting one written yesterday. Mr. Mancuso. Mr. Mancuso passed peacefully. My family needs to know this so that they can feel it too. He says, I had been not well at all, he says. It was overwhelming, and he had to give in to what was happening. But I love this part here. It's highlighted, right? He says, do you remember my busy life? Well, this guy loved his busy life. He loved working at it. He loved doing his thing. He loved running around, having errands, having responsibilities. This Mr. Mancuso, he even seemed like a business owner to me. So he was quite a guy. And then he goes on, he talks about the days when he was working and how those were the good old days, he says. So a lot of love to him. And we will see where this message goes. Now, interestingly enough, you don't know this, or maybe you do. If you see a purple paper that I post here on my public figure page, or I talk about, if you see one that resonates with you, you can send an email to us through the private message system, and then we'll direct you from there. My assistant will organize a 10 to 15 minute free reading session to resolve that purple paper. So yesterday, I had 12 appointments. I gave 8 messages out from people who saw their purple papers on Facebook. So you don't have to go to a paid audience. You can go to a free event. You can do a lot of things, but this is just one way of making a connection. Here's the next paper. Kevin. Now, I think Kevin had some kind of heart attack or heart condition, because there's an image of a heart with a lot of darkness in there. Generally, that represents a clot or a condition that was overwhelming. So Kevin goes on to say, Kevin felt a weird pressure in his chest, because I'm having trouble reading my handwriting. It didn't cause me pain. It was just pressure, he says. I think when the pressure came, I felt peacefulness. Something like warmth came over me. We had just settled several things, he says. Things were moving forward. He didn't have a chance to see it all come together, but he's making sure you know that he's okay. So here he says, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, right? It's a very interesting part of his message. Now, we're going to go to another message that was also written yesterday. This one is from Keith. I don't know if these two guys know each other, but I don't know. I had a weird feeling, or an interesting feeling, about their connection. So Keith says, okay, let's talk. What do you really want to do? What could you really do? What could you say? How could you fix it? Questions he's asking his family, because those are things they ask themselves every day. He says, I don't think you know it all happened in a second. Please stop worrying about me. I have found heaven. And then he goes, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, yes, yes. And then I heard laughing, as if he was trying to make everybody feel a little bit better about all the things that he was going through. Let's give out some shout outs. Lisa in Southbury, Connecticut. Hello. Sally in Coventry. Tina in Westchester, New York. I'm going to be in your neck of the woods in December. Nancy in Spring Hill, Tennessee. I will not be in Spring Hill, Tennessee. I wish I was, but it's not working out yet. Jen in Rehoboth, Kathy in Warwick, Lynn in Cranston, Sherry in Middletown, Connecticut, Jolie in Norwalk. I'm going to be there, but I think that's sold out already. Jean in Jacksonville, Florida. Hopefully I'll see you next year. If anybody out there that you know owns a bookshop or a bookstore or something, a metaphysical shop, and they want me to come do a talk about the Purple Papers at a book signing, let us know. We would be thrilled to do that. Here's the next Purple Paper from a name that I hardly hear. Rosalie. Rosalie's message is about how lucky she felt in her life. I love this. Look at how highlighted that is, right? She really wants to say it. She wants people to know that her mother, her parents, her family, she just felt very blessed in her life. And she's very clear about those blessings, she says. She said she was tired in the last 5 years of her life, but, that's what happens as you move along, as you get a little older, she says. And then she said her life was working for her family and doing all the things she could to keep everybody together. So this morning, we're talking about Rosalie. We're talking about Keith, Kevin, Mr. Mancuso, and the final purple paper for this morning. Now this one was written 9/25/2018. It's from Lou. Lou fought hard through his lung problems. I never really had it easy, especially the last 6 years. It was almost hard to breathe. It was always hard to exert myself. My lungs were bad. Then I had all that pain. Then he goes on and talks about that for a little bit. And he says he just really needed to go and how happy he was to let go. Purple Papers. These Purple Papers, which are posted almost every day here on this page, on Facebook, they tell the story of the continuity of love. They tell the story that there is more. They tell the story that love is everlasting. Just like the stories in my new book, Signs of Spirit, they tell the stories that love is everlasting. And now, for the big drum roll. Here we go. Here we go. And the winner. You got a drum roll or something, Kathy, that you can... Kathy. Hey, Kathy, you got anything? Carrie, you... Here we go. And the winner, we're going through 500 or 600 people who've said yes. You can keep saying yes for a couple of seconds more, but here we go. And the winner of this book today is Charles Reese. Charles Reese, R-E-I-S, right? Charles Reese, you are the winner of this book, my new book, Signs of Spirit. So reach out to us privately, and we will send this off to you, and we send you a lot of love and blessings, Charles. Thank you for saying yes, and thank you for tuning in. Now, I look forward to seeing you soon. As I said to you last week, which I haven't been able to do yet, is we're going to begin some evening meditations, and they're going to start very soon, and they're going to start on this page. So again, I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you for celebrating the eternal connection. Thank you for listening to the stories and the messages. And until next time, I send you love. I'll see you next Wednesday. Have a beautiful day.